Oh, great. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Michelle and Stacy. I'm Stacy.
Hi, Stacy. I'm Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. I know who you are.
For those who didn't know,
For
I'm
those who
Michelle.
don't know, oh my goodness, welcome to another episode. We thank you again for joining us. This is a wonderful day, and we're happy to take this time out to create something hopefully exciting and of interest to those of you viewing this.
Yes.
So, Michelle, do you know what month it is?
Black History Month. And guess what? It's your birthday month also.
I was thinking about love, the loveliest month of the year.
Oh.
Just like love, lovely, the loveliest month of the year. I love it. I love
I,
it.
I thought November was, but okay.
No, we can have a whole other conversation about all of that because I I agree to disagree. I yeah, I have my own take. Anyway, guys, we're going to also just celebrate this month. Black
Yes.
History Month is a wonderful month that, um, yeah, we take the time out to acknowledge a lot of the things that sometimes we don't think about as often as we're supposed to, which is not so great because we're in our skin. We're Black women and we're in our skin every day. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of things happening around us and a lot of things that we need to take into consideration. So,
Yeah.
Michelle and I are going to do a little bit of a story time today about our experiences. And Michelle has an interesting story to share. I guess my experience, I don't know so much that it's yours, but
Yeah.
you have a story to share that I thought would be amazing for, well, when I say amazing, it's a good topic to touch on regarding Black History Month and those of us walking in our skin color.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Welcome again, guys. My name is Michelle, like Stacey said, and I introduced myself. I was telling Stacey I read on this mom's blog that a nanny was complaining to a nanny was complaining to the other people in the blog about how she yeah okay she was at work, and one of the kids, 5 year old, said, "I don't like your complexion." And she's like, "Wait, what?" And the mom was standing right there. And the little boy go on to like say people who have complexion black is not good people and they're ugly and stuff like that. And the mom stood there and she said, "Oh, okay," and walked off without correcting the kid, without saying anything. And I'm like, I'm appalled. Like, where? Why? That woman is taking care of your child. Why didn't you just correct them? I'm like, someone who's taking care of your child, you're supposed to treat with the utmost respect and love because that person has your child's safety and well being in their hands. And they've been doing an amazing job. If they would have been with you for 5 years, that means you really have to like them for them to be in your life for 5 years. Because you're just going to have any people around your children. Being a mom myself, I'm not just going to have a random person around my child. And to hear that story happen, I was very appalled. I've never experienced that working as a nanny because every child is taken care of. It's always love. I even had one kid wanted to be my complexion. It's like, I want to be chocolate like Mimi. And I want to have, and they wanted their mom and dad to have a chocolate baby like me because they love my complexion. And I cannot imagine that, like going through that. That's very painful. Being at work and hearing that, that's painful. And it made me went and research, and I researched and look at articles about racism at work. And do you know that over 80,000 people complain and have legal stuff against people at work about racism? I'm like, 80,000 people? And that's not even all. It's just like what's being a fraction of what is being what's the word?
Dead or those in litigation.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But that's sad, Stacey. Have you ever experienced racism at work?
I mean, before I go there per se, I really want to touch on a lot of things in that story. Um, a lot of times we believe that people that we work for sometimes see us as more than just workers, see us as human beings who just not all about getting the bottom line. A lot of times, unfortunately, racism is a thing that exists. It's like an implicit and explicit thing. Like,
Yeah.
are brought up in environments where it's tolerated, where it's talked about, and then they grow up and that becomes part of their framework on how they think about people who look different from them. And it's not just how they think, but how they treat the people who look different from them, right? And it's like when you said that story and the fact that the situation was handled in a,
Very poorly.
say again?
No, I said very poorly.
Very poorly, exactly. It's a very callous way of handling it because it was an excellent time to teach that 5 year
Teachable
old that
moment. Yeah.
people, you don't have to like anybody, whether they're your race or not, but you respect them.
Yes.
And so that right there was just like outright disrespect. And that nanny definitely should not have been,
To be
she should,
subject to such nonsense. Yeah.
excuse me.
No, she should not be subject to that kind of treatment.
Exactly. So it says volumes about things, I'm not in the household, but it really implies that there's more being said, there's more being tolerated that does not provide structure in that sense, where, because my little girls, we're so aware of the people around us that look different from us, like I said, because we're in a predominantly white area even now. Stella is the only black kid in her classroom, and she's very aware of that. And that's another thing. I'm not even going to get into it because that's something I have to deal with personally. But she's aware, and with that awareness that there are other skin colors, tones, and ethnicities, or whatever have you, I am teaching her, like, listen, you will see things that are different from you as far as features on other people's bodies, their skin color, their hair texture, but you need to respect them. You can appreciate what they have that's different, but you have to also appreciate the fact that you are you, and you're born with your own special features as well.
Yeah.
If the conversation, and she's also 5 years old, so if that conversation with someone coming into your house every day, if the time wasn't set aside to be like, okay, she's been with us a couple of years, they've already been a couple of Black History months, it would have been a wonderful time to have a conversation with that child.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's so many opportunities, including that very moment.
And the saddest part of it, I forgot to mention, was that the nanny said she felt so hurt, and she felt like she was stabbing her chest with a knife, and someone like keep on dabbing a knife into her. And she said she wanted to right then and there quit, but she couldn't quit because she's thinking about her household that she has to take care of, and she need a job. But a great thing about it is that there are so many other moms that said to her that we have a job for you, come work for us. We're not going to treat you that way.
Yeah.
And I like that. And people that are not her complexion were signing up for her and was so appalled and was like, what's that parent's name, so I can go to the house and deal with her myself. And I was like, wait, what?
Oh, there are lots of white people who are very
Yes.
kind and very loving. I worked as a nanny for several years, and I dealt with all sorts of personalities. Those who were kind, those who were just very abrupt, and those who went out of their way to make sure that I was comfortable and wasn't in any particular situation where I felt outnumbered, or didn't have that community throughout my day, right?
Yeah.
So my own little story, when I worked in Pearl River, New York, um, I took care of this little boy named, should I mention his name?
Mm.
Huh?
Listen, we have money to pay. He's suing. He's going to sue us.
I took care of this little boy and
Name A.
say what?
His name is A.
Okay, hey. So I took care of this little boy for a little while, and one Monday morning I came to work, and his mom was just so tickled because she had this wonderful joke to share with me, and I'm like, okay, what's up? She's like, I have something to tell you, but I don't want you to get offended. It's not something to be offended about. So I'm like, okay, very curious, right? She prefaced everything with that statement, her little disclaimer. And she's like, we went to church yesterday, and he saw this black woman in the church, and he started calling her because he thought it was you, because you're the only black person he knows. And I just thought it was so funny because he saw her and he thought it was you. And I'm like, okay, okay, your kid needs to be a little bit more cultured, and he needs to be exposed to a little bit more. It was very sad. It was very sad that his limited exposure to anyone who was different was just me.
Yeah.
Right. So if for some reason he did not like me, he would have seen a complete stranger and treated them maybe based on his preconceived, not preconceived, because he would have already formulated his thoughts about me as his nanny, right? And probably go up to, say, on the negative aspect, go up to this woman and kick her because he didn't like me. I'm saying he liked me.
Yes, I know.
Didn't. Some kids misbehave and do things that are totally, inappropriate. So the point is having that limited exposure, not having the parents who are going to say to those kids, hey, that there are lots of other people who look different, and they come in olive and black and brown and yellow and red, and so there's so much that we need to teach those, I guess, our kids, because it's not just one side. I'm also taking accountability that I need to teach my kids about the opposite, not opposite, the other races that they're
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they're
Yeah. We all have to respect each other's race. So we're different, and we're different for a reason. It's going to be a boring world if we all the same complexion, if we all the same smile, if we all the same look and everything else. So yeah, I have learned to appreciate different cultures. There's cultures I'm like, ooh, I like that about them because I've learned so much from them and stuff like that. So yeah, even I love Indian food because I grew up with my mom's friend. They were Indians, and I learned the culture and certain things I know from them. I'm like, oh, I like this. And when they're speaking, I can actually have a conversation about me because I've learned from their culture. So it's sad to hear about racism, and I see people go through it even on like public transportation or trains or something at work. Going to work work is very stressful, and to go to work and encounter racism is like stress upon stress, and that's a lot. You can't function right. It's hard to function when you think about someone not liking you based on your complexion. And sometimes those people have so much to offer, but because people look at their complexion, and it's just like, hey, you're nobody. Meanwhile, they're the one that's there to like save the company. They're the one that's there to save the job or save whatever it is that they're doing. Like, to give a good report, whatever it is. And it's horrible. It's definitely horrible.
Yeah, I also understand that stress, because for me, in my last position, I was the only black person at the office, right? So we all went axe throwing, and it felt a little bit like, I know where the location. It's me being here, so it's fine. But there wasn't that kinship. There wasn't somebody else like me. So for me, as a woman and a woman of color, right, there was
Yeah.
always extra stress to make sure I represented well, like to make sure I wasn't that black person who was late, or to make
Yeah.
sure I wasn't that black woman who, I remember the first time that they recognized me for some achievement, they spelt my name incorrectly, and the last name on the board was not even my last name. And I'm like, this is really disrespectful. There's one black woman in this company, well, not the entire company, I take that back. Um, in this group that we just come on, I'm like, there's one black woman. How do you not get her name correct? Right. And I wanted to retaliate, but then also I had to give into the acknowledgement, no, the consideration that, hey, if I say something, how do I come off? You know,
Yeah.
and
You want to be angry.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the prejudices about angry black women, those preconceived notions that they have. Some people, and this is not a I'm not trying to generalize everything, but some people do carry those notions that because you're black and you're a woman, you're aggressive, and if you speak your mind, hey, step back. It wasn't meant for to be all that. So there's a lot of stress that we, those of us who want to represent well, there is that added stress because you have to prove yourself 10 times more than those around you because you
Yeah.
more off as that lazy black person or that angry. It's just so much more work. So to
Yeah.
have your face like that Nanny's experience, that blatant disrespect by that little child was that's tasking on anybody's mental. So I understand that stress that she went through. Just
Yeah. It's a lot.
gotta quit right away too.
Yeah. I don't wish that on my worst enemy to go through that. Yeah. Just thinking about that. But guys, thank you. We saw the time. We're trying to do better at how lengthy the video that we have. We're trying to do better. Thank you, Stacey, for joining me on today's topic on racism. If you have any stories to share about racism, please be free to share. Tell us your story. Tell us what you have encountered because we know there's always a story to tell. And we like to listen. Write to us, email us, comment, subscribe, share. And we love you guys. Bye bye.
Bye everyone.